There's a passage in Epictetus that I keep coming back to. He's lecturing a room of students working themselves into a panic about tyrants, prison, exile, execution, all the things a Roman of the wrong status in the wrong year could plausibly face. And Epictetus, who was himself born a slave and watched his teacher Musonius Rufus get exiled twice, finally cuts in. Has someone made smoke in the room? If the smoke is moderate, I'll stay. If there's too much, I'll leave. For one must remember and hold fast to this: the door is open. That's Discourses 1:25. The door is open. He's talking about suicide, calmly, casually, as a fact about the architecture of being human. You are never trapped in your life, you can always leave. And his point isn't that you should. His point is the exact opposite. Once you remember the door is open, you stop being afraid of the room. This is what the Stoics meant by not fearing death. It was never bravado. It was never, I'm tougher than you. It was a particular relationship with the fact of dying, practiced daily, applied lightly, taken seriously without being made the center of everything. And it's almost the opposite of what most modern Memento Mori content looks like. If you spend any time in self-improvement spaces online, you've seen Memento Mori turned into an aesthetic. Skull rings, black and white death journals, coins you flip in your pocket, remember you will die, embroidered onto a hat. I'm not knocking the objects. Some of them are beautiful. But what's gotten lost is that for Seneca, Marcus, and Epictetus, Memento Mori wasn't an aesthetic, it was an exercise. The Latin is meditatio mortis, literally meditation on death. And meditation in Stoic usage doesn't mean sitting quietly. It means rehearsing, practicing, running the drill. Seneca lays this out in Letter 26, which he wrote near the end of his own life. He's in his mid-60s, his body is giving out, and he writes to his friend Lucilius, "Egregia res est mortem condicere." It is a noble thing to learn how to die. Notice the word learn. Mortem condicere, to study death thoroughly, to come to know it the way you come to know a skill. Death, for Seneca, is something you train for. Not because training removes the fact of dying, but because training changes your relationship to it. He goes on, we should cherish old age and love it. It is full of pleasure if you know how to use it. Fruits are sweetest when their season is ending. That's not the line of a man performing acceptance. That's a man who has been practicing for decades and who can feel, actually feel, not just intellectually claim, that the late season has its own quality. And then, at the very end of Letter 26, Seneca slips in the line that probably defined Stoic death practice for the next 2,000 years. He quotes Epicurus, of all people, a rival school, and says, "Rem dicam lucili, meditare mortem." I will tell you something, Lucilius, rehearse death. Not fear death, not ignore death, rehearse it. What does rehearsing death actually mean in practice? For Seneca, it meant several specific things. It meant going to sleep each night with the awareness that you might not wake up, and treating that fact not as morbid but as clarifying. It meant noticing the smallness of your daily complaints against the size of the eventual end. It meant doing things in their proper season, because there is no other season. In Letter 61 he writes, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day." Balance the books each day, that's the practice, not a one-time epiphany, a daily ledger. What did I do today that I'd want to have done if today was the last entry? Where was I petty? Where was I distracted? Where did I waste hours being angry at things I won't even remember in a month? Seneca isn't saying live every day like it's your last in the bumper sticker sense, go skydiving, eat the cake, quit the job. He's saying close the books like a careful accountant, reckon with the day, don't carry unnecessary debts forward. That's a very different practice than the Instagram version. Marcus Aurelius approached the same problem from a different angle. He doesn't talk about rehearsing death as much as Seneca does. Instead, he keeps coming back to a question of ownership. Meditations, Book 12:3. There are three things in your composition: body, breath, and mind. The first two are yours only insofar as you must take care of them. Only the third is truly yours. Body and breath are on loan, not yours. You manage them, you steward them, you do not own them. And what isn't yours can't, in any final sense, be taken from you. It can only be returned. This framing was sharper still in Epictetus, who Marcus read constantly. Enchiridion 11, never say of anything, I have lost it, but I have given it back. Has your child died? It is given back. Has your wife died? She is given back. While the giver permits you to use it, take care of it as a thing not your own, as travelers do at an inn. As travelers do at an inn. That image is what I want to sit with. You're staying at an inn. The room is nice, clean sheets, a table, a window. You don't trash the room. You don't refuse to enjoy the bed because you'll have to leave it. You also don't fall in love with the curtains, because they aren't yours. You use the room well, you treat it with respect, and when the morning comes you settle the bill and walk out. That's the Stoic posture toward the body, toward the people you love, toward everything you'll lose eventually. Not detached, not gripping, used well then returned. Marcus repeats versions of this throughout the Meditations. You have existed as a part. You will disappear into that which produced you. Nature takes substance and makes a horse, then breaks it down and uses the same material for a tree, then a person, then something else. The same nature that brought you in now sends you out. The vocabulary keeps shifting: borrowed, returned, received back, sent out, but the underlying idea is steady. You are not the owner here. You are the user. And the user who knows they don't own the thing tends to use it better, not worse. Then there's Epictetus's harder doctrine, the one I started with. The door is open. This is the line that scares people, and it should be handled carefully. Epictetus is not encouraging suicide. He's saying something more subtle. The reason you tolerate tyranny, indignity, fear, and threat is because somewhere in you, you believe you have no choice. The tyrant has you, pain has you, circumstance has you. Epictetus says, no, you always have an exit. You may choose not to take it, and Stoic ethics strongly argued against taking it casually, but the existence of the door changes the meaning of the room. A man who knows he can leave at any time is not the same man as a man who believes he is trapped. Discourses 1:9-16, where Epictetus is responding to a student panicking about how hard life is. Friends, wait for God. When he gives the signal and releases you from this service, then go to him. For the present, endure to dwell in the place where he has stationed you. Endure to dwell, not because you can't leave, because the post hasn't been called yet. This is the Stoic balance, and you have to hold both sides of it or the whole thing collapses. They didn't fear death because they had practiced their relationship with it, and they knew the door was open. They didn't seek death because the post hadn't been called and the work of the day was right in front of them. The door is open, and you stay until you're released. That's not bravado. That's not fatalism. It's a daily orientation. You wake up, you do the work that's yours, you treat the people in front of you well, you don't fall in love with the curtains, you balance the books at night. And if today is the day, today is the day. And if tomorrow is the day, tomorrow is the day. Either way, you didn't waste this one. You and I are not facing Roman exile, plague, or the threat of execution by emperor. The shape of our mortality is different. For most of us, death is not an acute crisis but a background fact, distant enough to ignore, close enough that ignoring it is part of how we live. The Stoic move isn't to make death louder. The Stoic move is to make it neither louder nor quieter than it actually is. This is the line Memento Mori culture often misses. The point was never to be obsessed. Seneca didn't want you reading his letters with a skull on your desk thinking about decay all day. He wanted you to handle the awareness lightly enough to use it. To let it correct the small distortions, the petty grudges, the postponements, the meanness you'd be embarrassed by if you knew it was your last week. To let it remind you that the body you're in is borrowed and the people you love are at the inn with you. And then to set it down, to make breakfast, to do the work in front of you, to not turn every conversation into a meditation on impermanence. That's exhausting for everyone, including you. Marcus didn't write Meditations to be a death journal. He wrote it as a daily practice that included death the way a runner's training includes hills. Not the only hill, not every workout, but built into the conditioning. That's what we're being invited into, not fearlessness, not bravado, not skull rings. A particular relationship with the fact that you'll die, practiced often, held lightly, used to clarify rather than to dramatize. The door is open. You're not leaving today. Now what does today actually ask of you?